The Wee Folk and the Tea Party. The Witch of the Woods arrived home from her annual winter visit to see her dear friend, the Witch by the Sea. She brought home with her a small linen pouch filled with seashells. Eager to sort through her beachy treasures, she poured the contents of her bag onto her kitchen table and separated the shells into piles by size. Knowing how much Fable would treasure these mementos from her trip, the kind witch boxed up the pile of the tiniest shells, no larger than the tip of a pinky nail, and left the box on Fable's doorstep. Fable awoke to the beautiful sound of birds singing outside the cottage window. She had been anticipating this day for some time now. She and her friends always missed each other an awful lot while they stayed cooped up indoors during the dark season, so they made an agreement that on the first day that the birds could be heard singing throughout the forest, they would gather for a tea party in the garden to celebrate the coming days of warmth and sunshine. Fable hopped out of bed and ran to her front door to get a closer look out the window. A fragile ray of winter sunlight filtered through the cottage and illuminated the box at her doorstep, a sight that filled her with joy. She was overjoyed that the kind witch of the woods was finally home. She tore open the box and scooped the little shells into her hands, enjoying their smooth surfaces and the slight smell of the ocean water. These would be perfect to show off to her friends at the tea party. Fable never liked arriving at a gathering empty-handed. She also grabbed a jar of honey from the kitchen shelf, placed it in a satchel along with the shells, and headed out to the garden. Long ago, the Witch of the Woods lost a teacup outside when a particularly strong gust of wind blew it away during a garden tea party of her own. That teacup rolled under a thicket of brambles and wedged itself against the stones of an old wishing well. A water spirit named Dew found the teacup and used it as the foundation for a cafe for the wee folk. They called it the Tea House, and it was this place that the friends had chosen to meet up. Unfortunately, with the kind witch leaving the garden untended through the dark season, the brambles had become unruly and overgrown. Fable could not find the tea house. She did, however, find a few of her friends, also wandering around the garden, feeling just as lost as she did. Oakley the acorn girl and Bello the fungi spirit had arrived together, staring in concern at the tangle of leaves and branches when Fable came upon them. Their friend Wick, the candle boy, walked over a few moments later. Oakley stomped her foot in frustration. Dew must be worried sick. She expected us so long ago. What if she leaves? Or worse, what if she thinks we forgot about our celebration? What are we gonna do? She said, utterly distressed as her mind wandered. Bello knew Oakley had a tendency to let her nerves get the best of her when faced with the unexpected. He reassured his best friend with a hug and told Oakley that everything would be okay. Just then, Bello noticed a patch of stinging nettles hidden ahead. His final forage before the dark season was around that area. Guys, I think I remember there was a patch of stinging nettles near the tea house. Maybe if we follow them, it might lead us there. Just avoid touching the nettles. They have hairs that could sting you. Follow me. I believe I can get us there, Bello said timidly. Then with his exceptionally small frame, he effortlessly slipped under one of the thorny branches. With some hesitance, the three friends followed close behind. What little sunlight had come out that day was blocked out entirely by the thicket. It cast the space under the brambles in spooky shadows and created an extra cold chill that raised goosebumps on their skin. Even brave little Fable felt a bit nervous and linked arms with Oakley, whose breath could be heard in short, nervous gasps. It's so dark in here. What if we get lost? Oakley asked Fable nervously. Fable could see her friend was not doing great and wanted to find a solution to allow Oakley to feel more at ease. Fable remembered a story the kind witch had read one evening after the bell rang. The seashells she had brought along with her would be the perfect instrument for her plan. Oakley, I once heard a tale of a boy and a girl getting lost in the woods. They used breadcrumbs to retrace their steps back home. Have you heard this one before? Fable asked. Oakley nodded, unsure of why Fable would bring this story to her attention. Well, the Witch of the Woods was kind enough to leave these beautiful seashells on my doorstep this morning. I think it would be very helpful for all of us to be able to retrace our steps back home and follow the seashell path the next time we come to the tea house for a celebration. Would you like to help me lay these shells? Fable asked Oakley. Oakley filled her apron with some of Fable's shells and began to lay them on the ground as they moved along. Wick, I have an idea, Fable said, taking Wick aside for a moment to fashion some tools for the group. Wick and Fable broke off 4 thorns from the foliage around them. Wick used his gift to light just the tips of the small branches and create torches. The torches illuminated the space, allowing Bello to find the path out of the brambles. Everyone felt in high spirits as the sun rays cast light onto the clearing just beside the wishing well. "I knew that was the right way," Bello exclaimed. He felt so proud of himself for guiding his friends in the right direction. The friends ran around the wishing well to the other side, where they saw their friend, Dew, smiling and waving at them. She had already set up the tea party and even brought each of their favorite drinks from her cafe. "Hi, guys. You are just in time. I have had the most marvelous day. The sun feels so sweet and lovely. I just had to bring you guys your favorite drinks. I knew this was the perfect time to have the most perfect day. I was worried I wouldn't make it back in time, but I did. And now you guys are here. It truly is perfect," Dew said, beaming from ear to ear as usual and hugging each of the friends, as she had missed them terribly throughout the dark days. Oakley and Bello kept each other company often down at the Vale, and there was never a day where Fable had not seen Wick, even if just for a brief smile and wave from their doorsteps in the cottage. It made Fable sad to think of how much Dew must miss them through the winter hibernation. However, it did always feel that much sweeter to see her once again now that the birds sang their morning song. Fable hugged Dew a little extra longer. She could see the relief in Oakley's face now that they were all together again. The friends sat down for their tea party, and Fable placed her honey on the upside-down teacup they now used as their table. Oakley and Bello began to tell Dew all about their adventure to the tea house. Dew listened attentively while Fable and Wick looked through the remaining seashells. Wick was mesmerized by their beauty and couldn't wait for the walk home to follow the path Fable and Oakley had created. The friends couldn't wait until their next adventure, now that spring was quickly approaching. The end.